So, Eldro Arama. How are you all? So, how many of you are not from Karnataka? Anyone here? Okay, good. So, I was planning to use few Kannada words in between, so I asked. So, majority of you are from Karnataka. We'll wait for 2 more minutes. Amil Churmadan. Had breakfast? So, how are you feeling after coming to Bangalore? So, most of you from outside Bangalore, right? So, ಏನು ತಿಂದ್ರಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಉಪ್ಪಿಟ್ಟ ಚಿತ್ರಾನ್ನ ದೋಸೆ ಸೆಟ್ಟಾ ಮಸಾಲೆನಾ ಪ್ಲೇನಾ ಪಿ ಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೋ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ತಿನ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು ಅದು ಯಾವುದಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. Vijayanagar there is a Maruti Mandir. So, near that Maruti Mandir there is a street food vendor. So, I think there are 100 dosa varieties. So, yarigadaru bekandre you can go and taste it. So, 100 dosa varieties. Just like hundreds of courses that exist in UPSC. Everybody claims join my course and you will become what? IAS. You will become topper. ನಾವು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಸರ್ ಕುತ್ಕೊ ಬನ್ನಿ ಒಳಗೆ. ಲೈವ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? ಓಕೆ ಒನ್ಸ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ವೆರಿ ಗುಡ್ ಮಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು. ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟು ಇನ್ಸೈಟ್ಸ್ IAS Batch-4. So in this class I am going to talk about this is basically orientation. So, what is the meaning of orientation? What is orientation? Orientation is equal to brainwashing. It's kind of brainwashing, orientation, right? So, where people convince you that you have taken a right decision and then you are at a right place and you are going to crack this examination because yeah. So, orientation is basically clarifying certain things, aligning your mindset, right? Basically changing your mindset, aligning it to the UPSC preparation right now. Because till today some of you might have prepared, some of you might have read few things like NCERT, and some of you might have decided about optional also. Some of you might be reading newspapers also. But so, what you are going to start from today is going to be totally different than what you used to be doing till now. For example, how many of you have the habit of reading for 6 to 8 hours every day? Yeah, like 3 individuals, right? But most of you, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತು, like you know yourself better. So, just few days before the examination, not everyone, right? So, you have this habit of reading before the examination, maybe 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, and then cracking your respective examinations, whether it is a BA, BSc, BCom, science, engineering, medical. But here that is not going to be the case, right? Because can you imagine just before prelims 1 week? Because prelims exam is there next year around May 3rd week. Now, can you just attend class every day just like you used to do in your graduation, go back home, do whatever you wanted to do, like whatever you used to do during graduation, and then 10 days before prelims take up all the syllabus, all the books. Can you do this in this examination, right? So, that is one of the biggest changes within your personality, within your mindset, that has to undergo change. It has to start from today, right? And it should be gradual. You cannot suddenly start doing 6 hours, 8 hours preparation immediately. It is not possible. If you try to do within 1 week, I start getting people in my cabin that I am not able to sustain my motivation. I am not able to sustain my preparation. It is not possible. I am a very slow reader. So, I am spending 8 hours, 6 hours, but I am not able to catch up with the class, what they are teaching in the class, I am not able to go back and do the self study. So I will start with one question, this particular orientation. So why do people lose motivation fast? Why? Because they don't have any purpose in life. They don't have inner strength. Okay. One reason. Then, so don't worry. After this brief discussion of 10 to 20 minutes of motivation, because this is a very important question. That is what I see. Every batch, it has become a ritual now. You know, after every admission process is over, I come do the orientation, tell people, motivate them, give them direction like how to go about. I give them targets, what to do in a day. I give them timetable. I tell them in 1.5 years what you need to do, what you must do to crack this examination. But there is another ritual. What happens is that everyone do not follow it, right? So out of 100, it is less than 5 people who actually follow it. Out of 100, less than 5%. Among them, 1 or 2% will go on to crack the examination. So this is the process. So I thought today this morning, okay, let me address this first. So why people lose out on the motivation? Because see, look at yourself within you. Everybody decided one day that you want to become IAS, IPS. Some of you want to become IPS, some of you want to become Indian Foreign Service, some of you want to become Forest Service also. And most of you want to become one of these 4 services officers. So one fine day you decided, someone in childhood, someone in college, someone after the college. So then you decided, okay, let me go to, before coming to Bangalore, let me do research, which is the good institution where we can, get the guidance. So your neighbors, relatives, or some juniors, seniors might have told you to come here, and Google reviews might have told you to come here. So you decided, you took courage, first step. Okay, let me go to Bangalore now. So that was a brave decision, right? Because most of you have never been to Bangalore, and now coming to Bangalore, taking a room here, taking a PG here, sharing a room. So it is again a new process that you are about to go through, or you might be already going through. So this requires courage, little bravery. So you come here, and then today is the orientation. You decided, okay, let me come to orientation and listen to what Vinay sir is going to repeat from YouTube videos, right? Right. So I thought, let me tell new things in this class, because for me also it has become a bit boring to say the same things. So when you have taken this brave decision and have come and sat in this class, now what happens is that there is motivation within you. There is, I believe everybody has inner strength. It is just that you don't have, you haven't realized it. You don't maintain this consistency. For some reason, most of you don't maintain the consistency. So you lack motivation after 1 week, after 10 days, after 1 month, you start losing the motivation. So one reason she said is that people lack inner strength, to pull them together, push towards the goal. So what are the other reasons you can think of? Self-doubt. Okay, then? They don't know the demand of the exam. Okay, good. Lack of prioritizing things. Okay, good. Then? Overburdening yourself. Or like, we are overburdening you, or you? You overburdening yourself. Then lack of time management. Okay. Any motivation depends on your present circumstances, right? The sustainability of motivation, right? How long it is going to be there depends on the kind of setup you have put yourself in, the kind of circumstances, the kind of people you have surrounded yourself, right? So one reason is that why people procrastinate is that they focus too much on outcomes, right? So you are yet to learn so much, you are yet to prepare so much, you are yet to acquire so many skills related to to crack the examination, but most of you are focused on the outcome, that prelims is going to be conducted next year, mains is there, like whether I am going to pass or fail, what is going to be the outcome. You have put a set target like 24 I must crack or 25 I must crack. So what happens when the focus is excessively on the outcome, so you will not be able to do justice to the process right now, currently what you are doing. You end up daydreaming. Secondly, some people how people try to self motivate, right? If I don't do this now, there are going to be consequences, right? Some people will motivate you, like from our side also might motivate you, or some people try to motivate imagining that if I don't do it, there are going to be negative consequences, right? Consequences could be anything, that you will become unemployed, you will lose unemployable, and then the society might look at you differently. All the relatives who have put hopes on you might mistreat you, some negatives. So don't think of negatives and try to motivate yourself. Again, it is not sustainable. It has to be positive motivation, right? So another reason is that you try to overwhelm, as I said, that there is so much to do, right? Let me do it, and then you will end up not doing it actually. So and in some cases, dictator like attitude, like you must do it, like target. You have set target morning to evening. This is what I must do, I will do, and you will ask somebody, your friend or anyone to ask them to force you. Even that rigidity also won't work. So these things people try to do on day-to-day basis, setting a rigid targets, focusing too much on outcomes rather than the process, and then trying to imagine yourself, there are so many things need to be done. So all of these won't work. If you want to sustain, if you want to really crack this examination, this entire preparation needs to be sustainable in a way that it should be relaxed, it should be flexible, it should not be driven with that, like some people have these lofty targets. We don't understand where we come from and what are our limitations. Are you aware of your limitations, all of you? Are you aware of your limitations? So in UPSC interview, there is an interesting question. Now and then panel asks, what are your 3 weaknesses? Right? And it is the most difficult question to answer because people don't want to reveal their weaknesses. And some people don't know about their weaknesses. Can I randomly ask, what are your weaknesses? What is your weakness? ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ. It's okay. What is your weakness? Stress ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದು. Okay. So what about others? Laziness. You are surrounded with everyone, like including me. Then hat. Yes. No. What is your weakness? Application. Communication. Okay. Communication in the sense? It's okay. ಜೋರಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಏನಾಗಲ್ಲ. Like you get scared to communicate with people, or okay, fine. No, that will change. Here in Bangalore, it will change. Then you will learn to communicate in many languages, Hindi especially. So what about others? What about you? Procrastination. So that we all do. What about backbenchers? Sitting in the back bench is the weakness. So any weakness? No. Consistency. Yeah. Yes. So like these are something related to qualities what you are talking about. So there could be weakness in the sense of no, that we should not tell. Like some people try to tell positive things as weaknesses. I am a perfectionist, right? So So I achieve near perfection but not perfection or something, right. So I work really very hard without taking care of my health. Yeah. So some people put it as weakness. I work hard so much that my health suffers. So they want to say that they are hard working and they don't care about their health. So I read a lot of books, but again without any prioritizing, something like this. So they try to disguise so that UPSC panel will catch, this person is trying to do. So that doesn't work in UPSC, right. So any other weaknesses? What? Fear. Fear of what? So what will happen? Can anybody tell me? If you don't crack the examination, what will happen? Yeah, so you'll suffer for few days and then you might go into another activity, another job or something. Then correct. Life moves on. Actually, when you don't crack the examination, what happens? Yeah. Yes. So it will move on. Actually, nothing actually happens, right? So that imagination will be there. That you could have been IAS when you look into IAS officers, right? And then when some IAS officer does wrong thing or goes wrong, then you draw the motivations of IAS agilla sadi. I didn't become IAS. This is how life. There is a justification. There are excuses for not achieving something. Society offers everything. It is a buffet. Full rich fat wedding antaralla hange. You have everything, whatever you want. Right. It is just like what you want to choose. So why was I talking about weaknesses? So with respect to you, these are the qualities we were talking about. But there are also certain vulnerabilities. There are also weaknesses related to where you come from, and till now who you were and what you were doing. So what I am trying to say is that everybody sitting here do not have equal mental capabilities. Everybody sitting here is not equally smart, right? All of you know that, right? Everybody sitting here is not equally hardworking. Some of you might be hardworking, some of you may not be. Everybody sitting here is not equally capable of understanding everything said in the class at an equal pace. Everybody is not capable of reading equally fast whenever you try to read something. Everyone sitting here is not capable of now itself writing answers. Some of you, one or two, may be capable of doing that, but everyone is not capable. Within that, some of you have never written any answers. I mean, SAR, the GS kind of answers after your school days, during your graduation, right? So you come from various backgrounds, so various disadvantageous positions. So now when you have come here and when you are sitting in the classroom, when you know that things are unequal, right, among yourselves, and then extrapolate this to the entire competition, right. So when you are going to, I am going to scare you for next 2 minutes, right. So when you are going to give exam in 2024, you are going to compete with people like you, freshers who come from various different backgrounds. Secondly, you are going to compete with people, right. For example, every year around 12 to 13,000 people are writing mains. Among them, 10,000 people don't make it to interview, right. So around 2,500 people give interview. Among them, around 1,500 don't make it to finalist. So nearly 11,000 people who have written mains, say 22 mains, and similarly 21 mains or 20 mains because of multiple attempt. So the competition is also going to constitute those people, right, who have written mains or who have given interviews. So you are actually going to compete with those people in 2024. Plus, getting scared? Yeah, next level. So then you are also going to compete with, for example, there are 200 IPS posts So out of 200, 100 IPS, 90 to 100 IPS take extraordinary leave. Why? They are already extraordinary, but why? They don't prepare, they give, right? So around 100 IPS are coming into competition to give this examination again, but only less than 10 people get into IAS. That is a different story. Out of 90 to 100 who give, IPS officers who give examination again, less than 10 people upgrade themselves to IAS. So this is the situation. And then there are hundreds of, nearly half the competition again gives the examination. So in 2024 you are going to compete with around 300, 400 civil servants, right, including IPS officers, around 10 to 11,000 people. It is more than that, let us say 30, 40,000, because 4 to 5 years their number of is accumulated who have given mains and interview. So they are also going to be the competition. And in addition to that, all of you are freshers, and within that, as I said, there is a disparity. Some people are coming from a much better awareness. They would have started during graduation, they would have started mid graduation, or they would have got better guidance. Getting scared, right? So I am scaring you intentionally. I'll come to the point. Now what happens is that you must be aware of this truth. You are already aware, you know that, but you haven't thought about it, right? So somebody like all of you sitting in the classroom, so today is April 17th, so we have IPL, CSK versus RCB. How many of you are going to watch it? No. Ticket sigta illa adike. I've been trying for tickets, not getting tickets. Despite having hundreds of IAS, IPS students, what is the point? So I just wanted to crack little joke before starting, next discussion. So 17th of April, you are starting your journey towards civil services. Now, being aware of the reality, right? The task ahead of you, the path ahead of you is very difficult, right? I am not here to tell you that it is very easy. Follow our classes, we'll give notes, read them, revise them. You are going to crack the examination. No, it is not going to happen. That will happen in NEET, JEE, other competitive exams. That will happen during graduation. This examination is totally different. So what you have to do is that you have to become a different person in terms of your capabilities, in terms of your thinking abilities, in terms of your skills. So for that you have to make up your mind, very strongly. So I tell this when people come to admission, so I have been very honest with the students. I tell them, are you really confident? Are you really willing to work hard the way we expect it from you going forward, right? So then only you should join, then only you should invest your money. I can tell everyone, ours is the best institution, just come join everyone. So we don't do that. Like whenever people come to counseling, we tell them the truth. So that is what I am trying to say here. So, but at the same time, having known your own mistakes and weaknesses, there is a path ahead. Though it is very difficult, there is a clear-cut framework to crack this examination. What it actually requires is individuals who are aware of their weaknesses, individuals who are aware of their own limitations, and individuals who are highly motivated to overcome those weaknesses, right, and ready to, willing to undergo this grueling process, right. So you have to be that willing individual. You have to be that individual who will go through this entire process without losing motivation. Now and then you will lose motivation, that is natural for everyone, including me, including the most powerful people. Everybody loses their motivation now and then, it is very common, right. But so once you are facing a low phase in your life, ability to bounce back as fast as possible, right. So that is one of the key determinant of success. So it can be small setbacks through mock test, or when you are not able to write something, when you are not able to understand something in the class, or when you are doing self study, can you bounce back immediately, without wasting much time, without creating lots of lag period in or gap period between those two phases. So to overcome that, we have created a system here, right? So there is a mentorship system, right? And all our faculties, including me, we are available for you to come and openly talk about your issues, what you are going through, so that we can keep pushing you in the right direction, because every issue, every problem you are going to face have been already faced and told to us by thousands of aspirants before you. So whatever you are going to face is nothing new, and for every problem you are going to face, there is a solution. Every problem, every issue that you are going to face from now onwards has a solution, but it is just that how well prepared you are mentally to face them, to be willing to learn at every phase. So that actually determines. So why I am repeating is this, because as he said, like he has fear of communication. So most of the people don't come and communicate. So you don't communicate either with your friends, either with your parents, or either with your, if you have made new friends here in the classes, or with our faculties, mentors and teachers, right? See, if you want to crack this examination, it is directly proportionate to how many times, how many numbers you visited your mentor, your faculty or me, right, to seek guidance and improvement. The maximum number of times you do it, right, it is that proportionate, because it speeds up the improvement process. Example, let us say one of you decide to write essay today itself, right? Like it doesn't matter, you don't know anything about essay, you decide to write an essay, and then it may be just 1 page rubbish, 2 page rubbish, whatever it is. We are not going to judge you. So and then you come and show to your faculty or me that you have written an essay. And for this individual, I will suggest improvement. That what you have written is maybe useless, maybe irrelevant, but there is a way how you can make it useful and relevant. So you write this way. So now he is motivated, he or she, and then they will next week they will bring another essay. Maybe there may be slight improvement, there might be improvement, and then they have the courage to come and show it again. They are not ashamed of showing another bad essay, because they are not worried about their ego, self-respect, or whatever it is. They just want improvement. Now that person, I will again suggest something. So this process will go on, say after like 6-7 times. I am 100% sure the essay that person is writing after let's say 2 to 3 months is far better than the first one they have written. So this is the story of this individual, and then there is the story of other individuals who are waiting, right? Let polities get over, let economy get over, let geography, environment. So then we will start writing something, right? So by then it is 4 or 5 months. When you write, even after completing every class, even after completing entire coaching, when you write your first essay, it is going to be a bad essay, right? It doesn't matter whether you are going to write today or whether you are going to write tomorrow. It might have content, still it will have certain mistakes. So the individual who started now will make a great progress, right, after the course of 3 to 4 months, and when you start after 4 to 5 months, you will require another 4 to 5 months, right? So that is why I said it is proportionate to number of times you come and show your answers, come and show your essays, and come and seek guidance whether with respect to what you are not understanding, why you are not scoring good in prelim test. The more number of times you do it, right, the early you start, the success is going to be within 1 or 2 attempts. Otherwise what happens? So there is a system, another parallel, just like we have black economy, there is another parallel system that we have this RBI government kind of setup, we have mentorship and everything. So you don't want to take the help of that. So you want to run an informal economy underground. So you have the aspirant community within you. So you see someone as smart, you see someone as somebody might have written mains, because you find hundreds of people who have written mains at insights. So what you do, you start relying on them, or you start relying on one of the good candidates within your, you perceive that he or she is good. As I said, if you go back to the competition, everybody is preparing for the examination. So that what happens, that actually delays the process. So you can just get the basic guidance from them, but if you want to rely for long term, let us say 1 to 2 years, right? So rely on the formal system that we have put here. This is very important. So what happens suddenly when you are able to meet someone in the reading room or in your room or outside the street, so it disincentivizes for you to come and meet the faculties or mentors. You feel like, here itself I am getting basic guidance, so I can get it regularly, let me continue with this. So this is unknowingly most of the people are making a big mistake, right? At the end of the day, everybody is your competitor, whether they may be helping you, still they are your competitor. And here experience counts, right? So how many people you have actually guided, how many people you have actually made toppers, right? How many people you have seen failing in this examination. So I learn, our faculties learn both from the failed candidates as well as the candidates who have cleared the examination. They both teach us valuable lessons. So here don't be a mere spectator. As I said in the very early class, it is not your graduation where you come attend the class, and shockingly many people say, whenever come for admission, I tell them, so there are various determinants of success. I tell them, to put it another way, what I just told you, if you use our institution to the maximum extent, if you use our resources to the maximum extent, you are going to crack the examination. So then I asked that candidate, did you understand this? Right? Did you understand what I said? What do I mean when I say that using the institution to the maximum extent? So the answer he said actually shocked me, right? So I will sincerely attend the class, I will come in the first, I will attend the class, I will listen, I will make notes, everything, and then I will go back and study. Okay, what else? What more you can use? So, I mean, I was actually thinking that you would come up with something. You were not able to imagine beyond the classroom. Unknowingly, you have this notion that what is going to happen in the classroom is going to help you crack this examination. No, absolutely not. The same videos are available in Telegram and YouTube. You know the sources. You people are intelligent in that, right? So you know where these free stuffs are available. But even then, why do you decide and come to join the class? Not to listen the class. That is one of the component. Our teachers are best. They will give you very good classes and everything. But outside the class, after the class, what you are going to do, right? So this, if you change in your habit, day-to-day habit, right? Without deviating, without getting distracted, if you can just after your class walk in with your answer towards your mentor, right? Walk in with your essay, anything, right? So I'll tell you, this totally changes your preparation, and IPS doesn't matter, IRS doesn't matter, who are in the competition, you will beat every one of them. The reason is that the way this examination is set in this present pattern is, it is totally new every year. The same IPS, the same IRS who is in service, or the same guy who has given interview last time, if they don't update their notes, if they don't update their knowledge, right, if they again don't prepare like the freshers do, they are not going to crack this examination anymore. So 3-4 years ago it used to be the case, they would rely on their existing notes, would just walk directly into prelims. Prelims people will clear because it is accumulated knowledge. But mains you cannot crack anymore because it requires you to regularly update. So the one who updates here at a regular level, regular interval, using everything that we are going to offer and makes use of it repeatedly, and one of the beautiful components at Insights IAS is that the practice component, right? So we believe from day one you should be writing answers, you should be solving MCQs, and every week you will have a test where your mains answers are going to be evaluated. Are you aware of this, right? So again, what we see is that if the class has this much strength, everybody will not come and give the both prelims and mains exam, right? So more people will give the prelims exam, but less number will give the mains examination. Giving prelims is easy, right? coming to the mains exam and writing those 10 answers is difficult. So that is what they believe. They don't even try, they don't come and do it. And when it is part of the program, when those answers are going to be evaluated, when you don't have that system outside this institution, right? Why you don't make use of it? So all these things I am letting you know, I am stressing, because whenever I see your faces, I go back to my preparation days. So between 2006 to 2010, right? So when you were in maybe 4th, 5th standard, some of you maybe, so most of you born between 98 to 2002, right? How many of you born 2000? Okay, 2001, 2002? No, yeah, there are few people. 99? Okay, so that's what, 99 to 2002. So you were still in first standard or something, right? UKG, first standard, something. So between 2006 to 2010. So during that time, if you had come to Bangalore, right, thinking that you would prepare for UPSC exam, nothing existed here, right? You had to be rich and you had to go to Delhi. There were institutions who were focusing mainly on the KAS. So there was one more institution, very good institution, Justice, JSS, TIC in Jayanagar, and I don't know how they are doing right now. So but it used to be like university professors coming and doing classes, but there was no answer writing, no test series or anything. So what happened? During that time, we had to rely entirely on ourselves if we didn't have means to go to Delhi. There were no websites. Are you aware? Google started in 2004. Right, Google. Now you have ChatGPT. See the difference. So at that time, the Google, even if you search, it would take like so many minutes to just come with the basic search. We used to have internet at 44 kbps. Can you imagine 44 kbps? If people are thinking of gbps now, right? At least minimum speed you get is 30-50 mbps nowadays. So at that time 44 kbps. Only the texting, no image, nothing, no video, no images or nothing, even if somebody had internet. So during that time you had to have money and go to Delhi, and even then the fees used to be around 1 lakh. Now they have made it 2 lakh. If you go to big institutions in Delhi, the minimum including CSAT is 2,10,000. That is the fees in most of the Delhi institutions, and plus optional another 55 to 60,000. It will come to around 2.6 only classroom fees, plus monthly minimum 25,000 your food and accommodation, right? If you are going to stay for 1 year, so that is going to be how much? Nearly 3 lakh, 3 to 4 lakh, depending on other expenses. So you have to have at least minimum 6 to 7 lakh to go to Delhi and prepare for this examination, right? And in 2014 things changed. So I started a small batch, right? In the very first batch we got All India rank 8, All India rank. Have heard of DK Balaji? Ethics and aptitude. So he is my first student in 2014, right? So I guided him with respect to essay writing and ethics case study and ethics answer writing in 2014 when we started a small batch. So we got All India rank, 36. If you had got All India rank 33, you would have got Karnataka cadre. So 34, another girl who used to follow our website, the secure answer writing, I will show that. So daily answer writing she got. So there was a online system put in place. So I created Insights on India in 2012. It was there like as my personal blog from 2006 to 2012. I used to write poems, I used to write stories, book reviews, all nonsense. Like at that age some people like you people have thoughts as a rebel. Like for example, yesterday that the murder happened in front of the camera. Everybody has an opinion, right? So some people just discuss among yourself, think among yourself. So I had a blog where I used to just freely express. So that was the time when you could say anything on the internet without getting arrested, right? Between 2006 to 10, you could say anything without getting arrested, without having any kind of fear. You didn't have fear that somebody will come, IT will come. Nothing was there for IT to do at that time, or any police will come or anything. So now people have to be very careful what they are going to post. Isn't it the truth? Right. So forget about it. So I used to do this stuff, but in 12 I deleted everything. If you go on search history, you won't find anything. Right. And then made the UPSC website, and then it became very popular that hundreds of ranks people have got only by following the website, because there is answer rating, daily answer rating, there is daily quiz, there is daily current affairs, weekly essay writing challenge. So those who couldn't go to Delhi, those who were really poor, they started using the website, and those who could come to Bangalore, right. So the fees I was charging was around 40,000 something at that time. So it was like 1.5 year just daily answer rating. So they were coming here. So now in Bangalore we created a system where you no more had to go to Delhi, you don't have to actually go. People from Delhi, like between prelims to mains, you will see that students from all over India come to Bangalore for mains answer writing here. So we have created an atmosphere. The point I am trying to make is that in front of you, and you are already within that system, right. The only one thing it takes to crack this examination is, are you ready, right. You have to be ready. I mean, you don't have to see here and there. You don't have to go outside this system. So getting all India rank 1 was not a coincidence, right. And the next year we got all India rank 3. So 2015 on Teachers Day, September 5, Nandini wrote a mail saying that she wanted guidance from me because she read DK Balaji article on our website that I had guided her for the examination, and she wanted to come to Bangalore and get the guidance. So she wrote like all big words and all. So I said, come, gave the admission. 1 year she went through the process, and I am telling you, it is not because of me or it's because of Insight she got all India rank 1, because it's purely because of her personality, her attitude and her hardworking nature, right. And since then I have been getting, we have been getting 1 or 2 students like that. The only dream with respect to institution I keep dreaming is that how do I attract such kind of students more in numbers, right. Can I get another student like that, right. When she came, she had around 864 rank, right, and she got all India rank 1, and before her result I told her, my wife, everyone, that this year Nandini KR is going to get all India rank 1. People wouldn't believe, right. On what basis I was telling? Because before the 2 years I had given result, I knew what the competition was, what is the best essay one could write, what are the best answers one could write. So I knew that she was doing everything right, and she had great score in optional, and she had good personality to score good marks in interview as well. So once immediately after interview she called me, like while going back. So I told, she shared interview, I told her, your interview has really gone well, and there is no way that you are not going to, I didn't even say that top 3, top 2, nothing, I said rank 1. And after that, another guy, Sachin Gupta, he wrote mail. So I saw Nandini KR article in your website, you had predicted and you had told her you have guided. So sir, I don't want to be in top 10, I want to be rank 1, he said, right. So and then he came to Bangalore, and then he missed out rank 1 by 21 marks, right. He scored slightly low marks in I think essay paper or optional, I don't remember, than the expected, but nonetheless he was in the rank 3. So then we got rank 5, all India rank 5. Avinash I expected to be in top 5, but law marks came down. Now when I see these candidates, the only dream as a teacher, as a mentor, or as somebody well-wisher, as part of the institution, is that all it requires is such a personality to repeat such kind of results. See, they were not all from great colleges, like Nandini was MS Ramaya, right. At the same time there were hundreds of people who gave from NITs, IITs, right. You don't have to be from a great college all the time. Are you willing to learn? She used to come with her essay and answers every week, and show her. She was from Kolar. Just for this purpose, they set up a room here with her mother. Her mother stayed with her, and she was constantly supporting her, guiding her with respect to her Kannada literature, especially. Her mother was Kannada literature enthusiast, so she used to guide her. So there was a system, as I said in the beginning, the circumstances, kind of enabling, facilitating, encouraging circumstance where you would prepare continuously without losing the motivation. That exact system is available here. It is just that you should not go out of it. So there will be many forces which will try to remove out of the system. It can be family problem back home, right? So parents sharing their problems with you, and you think that from Bangalore you can solve all their problems. You cannot solve. Just empathize with them, just support them, and just come back to your preparation, right? And similarly, having bad friendship or bad relations, so they will also affect your preparation. And then in addition to this, all these self doubts, when you lose confidence, will make you get distracted. So you slowly get attracted towards entertainment and other activities or something. So don't allow yourself to become like that, right? If you promise me that you are somebody who is going to really work hard, somebody who is going to be consistent, right? As I've been repeating, we have the expertise, we have the experience, we have a system in place. So our test series is one of the top 3 in India, right? So can anybody deny that? Both prelims, mains. So one of the top 3 in India, is a default, and that is going to be given to you regularly, right? So if you are willing to make use of it on a regular basis, so within the 2 attempts, you are going to crack this examination. It is as simple as that. It's not a rocket science or anything. It is just like everything comes down to your personality. So I want you to come out of your comfort zone. Start taking small risks. Don't be afraid of criticism. Don't be afraid of any people will ridicule, insult you. So don't be afraid of anything. And you should have lots of patience also, right? For example, let us say you come to meet me next week. I may not be there, but that doesn't stop you from coming again. Some people like at your age, born in, so all of you are like 18, 19, 20, nobody is 18, right? Like 20, 21. So this is the age, the restlessness. We live in this restless world right now. Everything needs to be instant. So like if you get agitated, you feel like Google review, I'll give 1 star. That is what, wherever you go to restaurant or hospital or wherever you go, you feel like that. That is how you would like to show your anger. Or on Twitter or something, So there was this happiness index, So there is, I don't know which NGO or which institution, it creates global happiness index. So India was ranked what? 150? I don't know exactly. So it was ranked lower than Pakistan, Ukraine, right? Sri Lanka and some other countries which are actually going through lots of troubles. So India was ranked lower than, like India was more unhappy than Pakistan, like Indians were. So I tweeted about it, saying that the index is purely created based on Indians' behavior on the Twitter, not based on the reality. You go to any Twitter timeline, people are complaining. They are complaining about this, that, they are commenting about this, that. So you don't see anybody appreciating anything. It's very rare, you see appreciating some movie, book. Even if you appreciate, already there are, comments. So that there are negative people, like, how can you appreciate this, right? They say there is something better than this, or there is something loophole within this. So here in preparation, you should not have that kind of attitude, right? So you have to know that you are not perfect. You should know that we are not perfect, right? While we both being imperfect, still the success is possible. The thing is, you have to be flexible, you have to be patient, right? go in such a, that's what the flexibility within your mind, with your preparation is very important. So otherwise you have these expectations, this has to happen within this week, within this day, and when that doesn't happen, right, then what happens? It falls apart. You don't feel like repeating it, right? You lose the hope. That should not be the case here. Are you getting this message? Or is it that I am just speaking alone here? What about those who are sitting in the back? Ella chashma hakkondadar lake. All of you are very studious. So those who have got 80% plus in your SSLC, can you raise your hands? 80 plus. Okay. Which means 90 plus also. Okay, 90 plus. Good. Anybody 95 plus? So why are you sitting in the back 95 plus? Good. In 12th 90 plus? 12th PUC. Okay, 80 plus. Good. So how many of you are engineers here? Okay. Okay. BA, BCom, okay, BSc, okay, medical science, okay, yes, in your bit na? Yeah, which branch you are? Design, what is it like, BSc, BE? Bachelor of Design, good. Somebody, agriculture comes under BSc, right? So can somebody answer, like, why did you decide to become IAS or IPS? When did it start for you? Degree ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರ ಅಥವಾ after degree? When did it start? Or how many of you have this confidence, having listened to whatever till now I talked about, that in 1 or 2 attempts you are going to crack this examination? How many of you really have this confidence right now? Very good. Yeah. ಮಧ್ಯ ಒಂದಿಬ್ರು ಯಾರ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಲಿಲ್ಲ ಯಾಕೆ? ಕೈ ನೋವಾ? So why didn't you raise your hands? ನೀವೇ ಮಧ್ಯ ಕೂತಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮುಂದೆ ಆ ಹುಡುಗಿ, ಯಾ ಯು ಓನ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಮಿಂದ. ಎಸ್, ಕಾನ್ಫಿಡೆನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ವಾ? ಯಾವರು? ಕೋಲಾರ. ನಾನು ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸಿಟ್ ಡೌನ್. ಸಿ ವಾಟ್ ಎ ಕೋಇನ್ಸಿಡೆನ್ಸ್. ಇಷ್ಟೊತ್ತನಕ ಕತೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ನಂದಿನಿ KR ಕೋಲಾರ ಅಂತಂದು. ಗುಡ್. ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ರೈಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್, ಯು ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಅದೊಂದು ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಬೇಕಂತಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಯು ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಡೂ ಇಟ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಟು ಅಚೀವ್ ದಟ್, what you have to do on a daily basis? What are the minimum targets you have to achieve by next May and next September? September is going to be mains 2024, around May 3rd week, let us say around May 20, the calendar is not yet out I think, so around May 20 prelims will be there. So which means you have exactly 12 months for you to crack the prelims, and then around 15 months to crack mains examination, right? So irrespective of from which background you come from, right? So I believe if you are flexible, for example those who need to improve a lot, if you can give more number of hours, right, more consistency, you can match up to people who have already shown some progress, right? So people who have already done little basic coaching or something, or basic reading, how you can use the facilities. So that I am going to talk about. But irrespective of where you come from, everybody has a chance to crack this examination, because 12 months is a really good amount of period for you, right? So first broadly, so with respect to, I will start with optional. So what is the timeline that you should be looking at? So optional, so there are presently like 6-7 optionals which are very popular. So number one is, so it keeps varying, right? Like in 2019, geography was the most popular optional, right? And then 2020, anthropology became the most popular, 2021. And then 22, political science has become the most popular, right? So most popular in the sense, there are two criteria. One, the maximum number of people opting for the optional. Second one, the success rate with respect to how many people with particular optional are writing the mains examination, right? So here success rate in any optional, the good success rate is something that varies between around like 10 to 11%. So like if 100 people have taken political science, right, if 11 of them make it into civil service, if 100 people have written mains, right, so then the success rate is around 10 to 11%. So most of the optionals, the most successful optionals have the success rate of around 8 to 12, to be honest, I mean to be very clear. So but around 9 to 10 or 10 to 11 is something we can say. So those are political science, sociology, anthropology. Kannada literature has one of the highest success rate, even around 15% I think. And then next are like geography and public administration, right. So low success rate, history, philosophy, I never recommend them because of the low success rate, despite many people taking them, right. Psychology is okay. If you have already done graduation in psychology, you can go for it. And mathematics also has a decent success rate, around 9 to 10%. But for mathematics, law, medical science, agriculture, or any other professional courses, if you want to opt these, or even engineering subjects, civil, mechanical, electrical. So the criteria is how much time you are going to save if you want to go with those optionals, right. If you haven't done them well in the graduation, right, if you don't have good conceptual clarity with respect to these optionals, my suggestion, including physics, zoology, botany, and other chemistry. So if you don't have clarity, if you lack confidence, don't go with them because of familiarity. Just they sound very familiar, don't go with them. That is very dangerous. Mathematics, if you are really good with mathematics, you can go with it. It's a good optional, but all other optionals, including medical science, right. So 4 years if you have done well, you go with medical science, otherwise better not to go with it. 5.5 years if you have really done well. Law optional is also similar, right. So we had 2 law optional students who got very good rank, highest rank in the Karnataka. So they had done well from National Law School, their law course. So they went with the law, without writing test series, without making notes, they had everything ready, right. So in your case, so political science, anthropology, sociology, Kannada literature, geography, public administration, mathematics. So these are the something that I would personally recommend, any one of these optionals. And agriculture, if you have really done well during your graduation, agriculture is also a very good optional, right. So these are the optionals. Now the timeline is that if you are looking at 2024 to crack the examination, within next 6 months you have to complete your optional. So which means by October at least, by October you have to complete the syllabus, whether through coaching or whether not through coaching, it is up to you. You should have notes ready, you should have completed paper 1 and paper 2, all the topics, and keep everything ready. You should be in a position to write few answers. In addition to this, you should have solved 10 years of optional papers. So what are the targets? By October or November you have to complete optional. 10-year papers you must solve every optional, plus complete the syllabus, paper 1, paper 2 totally without leaving any gap, so that November, December you can do one revision, and again from January onwards you can focus on prelims again, right. Prelims will be continuous from day 1. So that is the target. And coming to the class, so by April, including mains syllabus, we will complete everything for you, right. So there won't be any classes pending after prelims. So including ethics, including essay, including world history, society, environment, natural disaster, security issues, everything that is not specifically part of prelims. In addition to prelims, whatever mains exclusive topics are there, we will complete it by April, right. So our approach, as you know, is that it is subject wise approach. So for you, polity will start, only after completing the polity we will move to another subject. So the only subject that gets intermixed is the CSAT, right. CSAT is not like 1 month we will do and then will stop you. It has to be continuous, now and then, so that you need to do continuous practice. So that is going to be the timeline. By April you are going to complete the syllabus. Again within December all the most important topics are going to be completed for you people. Now these are the broad with respect to optional and this thing. Now on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, how should your schedule be? So how many hours you need to study every day? This is one classic question everybody asks, every topper, wherever we go. ದಿನಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆ ಓದಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು IAS ಆಗ್ತೀನಿ? ಎಷ್ಟು ಗಂಟೆ ಓದಬೇಕು? 8 to 10. Target complete. Doesn't matter how many hours. ಇವಾಗ how many of you can really sit and study for like 8 to 10 hours continuous? Of course break is required. What about all others? So what are the basic things you have to do on a daily basis? There are 3 broad exercises or assignments you have to do on a daily basis. If you want to divide your day into 3 sections, one is related to current affairs, right? One is related to optional, another one is related to GS, what is happening in the class. Now it doesn't matter whether you are going to study for 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours or 12 hours, you have to compulsorily divide your day into these 3 parts, right? The most fundamental part of this examination is the current affairs, right? For current affairs, what will you do? Are you in the habit of reading papers? How many of you are reading the Hindu or Indian Express? So what about others? Prajavani, Kannada Prabha. Insights current affairs.
And one
monthly magazine. So what do you think? Should you read newspaper or current affairs? I mean Insights current affairs. Both. Never make the mistake of staying away from hard copy newspaper. Right. Especially for you people, the pressure, this is important suggestion. Take the hard copy, the Hindu or Indian Express, the Hindu here. What the Indian Express we are getting is not the actual Indian Express. They split. So we have New Indian Express in the south, the Indian Express in the north. So that comprehensively covers. It is popular among Delhi students. So here the Hindu is still the best. So if you are in the Kannada medium, Prajavani is good. I don't know about other papers. The Hindu. So you take the Hindu. See, at least spend 1 to 1.5 hours. Don't worry about it. Some people might spend 2 hours also. You have to, in the beginning, try to read each and everything. From beginning to end, don't be selective in the beginning. Like try to develop interest, love for the current affairs, love for the knowledge, right? So read criminal news, read political news, read sports news, read slowly start reading, editorials, the front page news, anything that is there. So don't try to leave anything. This habit of reading the standard literature, the original paper, that should be developed, because that is the basis of critical thinking, right? Now if you start reading the ready-made material in the very beginning, right, that will lack analysis, right? Such kind of content will not have standard vocabulary, standard sentence, English, right? If you want to improve English, written English, thinking in English, and if you want to write good essays and answers, reading hard copy of the Hindu is must, right? For you it will take long time. For some people, don't get discouraged, continue, don't leave it. Take a dictionary. For some people, understanding what is written will be difficult because many of you are going to do it for the first time. It's okay, normal. So take the dictionary, note down all the words, the new words you are getting, their meaning also. Over a period of time, after 2 to 3 months, what will happen is that same words start getting repeated. So there is a limited vocabulary in English, right? Hardly we will find 10 extra words, totally unknown words after like 2 to 3 months. In the beginning there may be more, but ensure that you keep a separate notebook. So this is all must be done. If you are really dreaming IAS, IPS, right? Dreaming is different and not doing is different. You have to do this because it will develop critical thinking, and then it will help you formulate your own original opinions, right, about all the issues, which is very much important in essay writing. Thirdly, it will help you see one issue from multiple perspectives, dimensions. When you start reading, many editorials on one particular issue. So these papers, what they will do, they will bring authors, columnists from different backgrounds, and they try to give both the perspectives or multiple perspectives. So the Hindu, there is I think once in a week there is a column, debate. So they invite 2 authors and they write pro and against. So there is no bias or anything, don't buy these arguments, these papers are biased and this and that. Something will be there, but you don't have to worry about it. Take the Hindu every day and read, but for God's sake don't make notes, right? Many will recommend you to make notes, right? Especially in the beginning, first 1 or 2 months, don't make notes. The moment you start making notes, right, that thrill of, the enjoyment of reading will be taken away. It will become a burden, it is endless, you will go on making notes and it will take like 3-4 hours also. So don't make notes for 1 hour, 1.5 hour, you just read it for the sake of understanding, enjoying, what is happening around you. What it does is that sometimes even if you don't note the words and their meanings, if you keep repeatedly reading, right, subconsciously you will build the vocabulary within you. So in their context, you will start making sense of those words. The meaning will be apparent to you, they will become evident for you. So this enrichment of vocabulary will be natural process. And see, as I told you, when you have to compete with those who are in service, those who are coming from a very good academic education background, you have to bridge these gaps. So that is, language is the first tool. If your language is not strong, right, if you cannot write well, if you cannot speak well, this exam you are not going to crack at all, right. So don't get carried away because of the classes and GS and so much of content that you see, and don't ignore the very basic of it, the language. So strengthen your language. And when I see in the mock interviews, right, so when I am conducting these mock interviews, those who are cleared mains, right, so those are about to give UPSC interview, we do something called as mock interviews. You might have heard about it. So in our institution, I do one-on-one mock interview, we don't do panel, right. So I do one-on-one mock interview. So any guesses this year how many mock interviews I might have done? How many candidates are giving interview? Around 2,300 or 400 are giving interview, right. So among them, I have already conducted one-on-one mock interview for 550 candidates, right. So 550 students who are candidates who are going to give interview this year, they have already given one-on-one mock interview with me. And then when I speak to them, when I interact with them, when I ask them so many questions, so on an average, I ask 20 to 25 questions, right, in the course of 20 to 25 minutes. And then the questions are diverse, it is related to their hobbies, interests, their background, education, optional, they're all scholarships, right? And then random questions, we can ask anything. So here language really matters, right? Your ability to convince me, your ability to think from different angles, different dimensions is directly proportionate to your hold on the language, right? So in your head you have ideas in your mother tongue, maybe you have thought about it, but if you want to clearly communicate that without using too many words, so that is the trick to good interview. You know, you can explain the same thing 5 minutes or you can give the same thing in less than 1 minute. So if you have right vocabulary, right, if you have right vocabulary, you can say the same thing in few number of words. Similarly, if you are writing 1000 word essay or 150 word answer, without spending too many words, you can say more, you can pack more content, more argument when you have right set of vocabulary. So the advantage of reading standard newspaper is so huge. So don't go for YouTube videos or our current affairs in the very beginning, right? You have to, if at all time permits, you can just glance through our current affairs, but only after reading the standard newspaper. So as soon as you wake up, get the hard copy of newspaper, spend 1.5 hours, underline things, underline new words, new ideas, new examples, you are getting any interesting it. So don't judge anything right now. So later after 1 or 2 months, once you are totally familiar with the syllabus, each and nook and corner of syllabus, you will naturally start identifying which is important and which is not important. While reading paper, you will know that anything that is directly related to syllabus is important, anything not related to syllabus is unimportant. So you can leave out. So if you invest 1.5 hour right now, then after 2 to 3 months, it can be 30 to 45 minutes to just to complete the paper. You will be reading only what is important. So I am just telling 2 to 3 months, it can take 6 months also in some cases, but still it is worth, you have to continue it, right? And then after reading the newspaper, the second exercise in the day, what we have to do is that visit our website and then solve the current affair quiz, right? How many of you visited our website? Can you open the internet open madida? ನಾನು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಬಂದು ಬೋರ್ಡ್ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಟಚ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಓಕೆ, ಜಿಯೋ ಸಿನಿಮಾ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು INSI ಅಂತ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ ಸಾಕು, ನಮ್ಮ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಪಾಪ್ಯುಲರ್. 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh people, depending on the season, every day they visit the website. So if you go to free initiatives, there are like current affairs, quizzes, mains, so many things are there. So under the quiz, there are like 4 quizzes. Every day we post 4 quizzes. One is current affair quiz, 5 questions are there, and static quiz 5 questions. The static quiz is aligned with a year-long timetable we give. For example, we say something mission 23, mission 24, and according to that we give. You can solve that also. Quid is questions from editorials. From the Hindu editorial or any other newspaper editorial, we make MCQs, multiple choice questions. And then current affairs, RTM, revision through MCQs. So the current affairs of today, right, on that you will be making revision tomorrow through these questions. So there are 10 questions of these, 5 questions of these, 5. So total 20 current affair questions every day. You have to compulsorily do these 20 questions every day. This is very fun, very exciting. You learn something new. You might have missed or you might have learned something. If you have learned something, you will know how to apply that. So Saturdays. Right. So these questions are again standard, they are not like factual questions, direct questions. So statement based questions. Okay. So all 5 are like 2 to 3 statement based questions. On that days current affairs. Similarly, we have QUED, 5 questions from editorials, and then 10 from RTM. All these questions are different. So in a day, if you do 20 current affair questions, in addition to reading the Hindu newspaper, right? So if you start April 17th, by next April 17th, you would have solved how many current affair questions? So forget about Sunday. Sunday we don't post it, right? So around 310 days, right? 310 into 20 every day, 6,000 plus current affair questions. So before next year prelims, you have nearly 6,000 plus current affair questions. So 6,000 plus is, if you make it a book with solutions, so the thickness will be like this, right? Thickness will be more than this. That is more comprehensive, more exhaustive than any other current affair material you have in the market, including our monthly current affair compilation. I am not talking about it. I am just talking about quiz compilations. Everyday quiz, its solution after reading paper, if you are solving these questions and once a week before your weekly test. So in weekly test what we do, we have MCQs also, mains also, right? So there we repeat some of these questions in your test. So before every Sunday it will happen like a clock. You will never miss a test. I mean, we will never miss a test. You should never miss a test. So before every Sunday, whatever questions you have solved, you have to revise them. If you keep revising them periodically, right? So what happens? It won't act as a burden before prelims. And if you want to make any notes out of current affairs, from here you can make, right? It itself is notes like solution, but if you are learning something new, you can keep separate notebook for what you are learning from current affair quiz. And 6,000 questions which might cover like thousands of issues is going to be your one-stop source for prelims current affairs, right? I am talking about prelims. So most of it can be helpful in mains, but for prelims, if there are 20 to 30 questions in prelims out of 100 questions, now imagine like 20 to 30 questions in actual prelims out of 100, and you have solved nearly 6,000 questions. So this is, I am not counting weekly test. I am not counting the daily questions we are going to give in the class, and I am not counting two test series which will be made available to you subject wise, plus there is one more test series, textbook wise. So these two are different test series for all India people, and they are going to be free for OGP students, right? So combined they will have another 7 to 8,000 questions, including static and current affairs. So you are looking at within the setup of insights nearly 12 to 13,000 MCQs, right? So if you start with these 20 questions plus 8 to 10 which you are giving in the class, around 30 questions, plus another minimum 10 from your end, which question I will talk about it. So with respect to current affairs, do these two things. What two things? Newspaper and So after 2 months you can start making from newspaper only from editorials, right? Only from editorials. From editorials what? You have to divide editorial into factual component and analytical ideas. What are the arguments they are making, new ideas, right? So for that you can keep a separate notebook, right? And then you will have weekly current affair class also here every Saturday. So the weekly current affair roundup will be done through the class. So that is what I was talking about. You have things in the system. You just don't get carried away from the, everyone will come up with new type of current affair, new attractive current affair, this and that. So it is all to I mean from their institution they are doing fine, but when you have chosen one thing, stick to one thing. So this is what at the end of the day toppers say, right? I mean the smart preparation is nothing but, what do you mean by smart work? How do you define, how do you differentiate between hard work and smart work? So why do you call it as smart?
It's not taking extra burdens, getting into everything.
Correct.
Every source have the same information.
Exactly. So every source has same information. It might have a different color, different width and length and breadth, but at the end of the day it has same content. The definition of smart work depends on two factors: how much time you are going to save for yourself, right? Can you do something more within limited time, right? And the optimum use of the resource. The resource you have in your hand, can you really make use of it effectively, right? That can happen only when you rely on one good source. If you try to diversify into too many things, it is gone, right? So with respect to current affairs, am I clear? Right? So don't deviate. I mean, this is for your sake. If you were in another institution, if somebody had told you the same thing, you should have stuck to the same. If that institution says follow our current affairs, our quiz, I would recommend the same in that institution. I am not against any institution or anything. So in this setup, and again we have the quality is there, like thousands of toppers have benefited from it. I mean thousands of toppers, online, offline combined. So you don't have to doubt about it, right? Then static quiz. So I talked about 10 more questions, MCQs on a daily basis. So these must be from your previous year question papers, right? So for example, today polity class will happen today or tomorrow? Tomorrow, right? Tomorrow. Yeah, let us say like today or tomorrow, like from tomorrow you have first polity class. So after your polity class, after 3 hours of class, whatever sir teaches, what you need to do is that first in the class note down each and every word. They will give ample time, sometimes they will dictate, sometimes they will give running notes. Don't miss a single word in the class. And then you have to revise the notes, and then you have to read related NCERT textbooks. This is compulsory. NCERT is must. So don't skip NCERT and go to Lakshmikant. That is again a big mistake. First NCERT, be perfect with NCERT concepts, and then only move to, again NCERT, the Hindu I recommend it because of the language, vocabulary, analytical thinking and other things. NCERT because of the conceptual clarity, and every concept that the sir is teaching will get reinforced in the NCERT. Plus in NCERT they show the application of that concept, right? That application of concept through various illustrations, stories, examples, it is very clear. So and you will know that how to apply in what context. Some of the philosophical basis of some polity and economy questions you get answer in the NCERT textbooks. So at least for every subject NCERT must be studied at least 4 to 5 times, right? For example, the polity will go on for around 35 to 40 days. So to complete NCERT polity books hardly it takes 7 to 8 days. If you study every day 2 to 3 hours one NCERT, right? Class 6, 7th, 8th you can complete it in 2 days, right? The 11th, 12th textbook might take around like 5, 6 extra days. So once if you spend 10 days to complete this, the next revision will hardly take 5, 6 days. The another revision will hardly take 4, 5 days. By the time polity gets completed, you can complete minimum 3 revisions of the related NCERT textbook. So in your first iteration when you are doing this, so focus on the basics first, right? So that is one component, and then 2 more components, questions that are there at the back of NCERT. Silliest question that is there in class 6 to the important question there in the class 12th. So don't miss any questions, right? So try to solve them, both MCQs and some chapters have MCQs, some chapters have descriptive questions. So just try to answer them. Descriptive question just a rough skeleton, you don't have to write complete answer. The another component is this is the most important, previous year question papers, right. So whether the topic is covered in class or not, right. So you always try to stay ahead of the subject by keeping in touch with the previous year question papers, right. So what you can do, you can buy a question bank from market whichever has last minimum 20 years MCQs, segregated subject wise. So if he teaches fundamental rights, any fundamental rights related questions you have to solve voluntarily, right. Anybody who does this, especially this exercise, forget about everything, previous year questions. One who masters previous year question from the earliest day of preparation can easily score 120 plus in prelims. If you are dreaming about cracking prelims in one attempt, I am telling you, repeating you, previous year question paper is your source. Learn each and everything from previous year questions. Every keyword may be taught in the class, may not be. So you have to be aware of the keyword. I mean, what I am trying to say is that for example, this question is there, right. Consider the following statements regarding machine to machine communication, M to M. So you have to identify the keywords in the question plus in the solutions. So now it says M to M and it is giving you two statement. So you see in this statement, is there any a new word or new concept that is totally unfamiliar. So this is something conceptual, this is descriptive. There may be a factual question, right. We'll see another question. For example, this, right. So they have given like 4 ailments not caused by virus or any doctor here. What is the answer? Or any BSc graduate? Typhoid. Typhoid is caused by? So Salmonella typhi is what? Bacteria. Okay. Only typhoid or any other? What about dysentery? Is it caused by virus? Doctors? Protozoa. Protozoa. Okay. ಯಾರು ಆಗಲೇ 5 ಜನ ಡಾಕ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೈ ಎತ್ತಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಇವಾಗ ಸೈಲೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Influenza? There is virus. So the answer is 1 and 4. C. C na? I don't know. I am the dumbest person you can have in the institution. Okay, forget about it. The point I was trying to make is that, so somebody like let us say you are from the BA background, BCom background, so you know only dysentery, right? So now you may not be aware of other 3 diseases. So you have to make notes of these 3, whether it is caused by protozoa, virus, bacteria, right, or fungus in some cases, right? Just very briefly. Now you should not ignore other 3 thinking that in the solution the answer is only 1 and 4. So in previous year question, any such keywords that exist, for example here like this is also here again there are 4 keywords. What I mean by keyword is a unique concept or something. Right. So the static quiz we have been doing for at least I think 5 years now. Every day 5 questions. So which means around 300 into 5, 1500 question in a year. Again, if you say 5 years, around 7500 questions. Those compilations are available freely on the website. So if you see, you will see hundreds of S&T questions, right? Nearly 1000 economy questions, 1000 plus quality questions. These questions are available. So this is for extra practice. Now you take 10 previous year questions every day and on them you keep a separate notebook, go on making notes on them. So every day you are looking at least 40 MCQs, right? So it will take maybe 2 to 3 hours for you to do it, but it is worth doing it. You are sitting 3 hours in the class and then you have 21 hours with you, right? Am I right? So outside the class you have 21 hours. Forget about 1 hour going coming, 20 hours you have. So you sleep for 8 hours, right? Out of 20, you are still left with 12 hours, right? So in 12 hours, you 2 hours, your break and other things, breakfast and other things. So realistically speaking, outside the class you have 10 hours, right? So current affairs, reading the Hindu, solving quiz and everything, 3 hours. Every day you have to give it, right? And then the static NCERT revision, that is another 3 to 4 hours. At least minimum 3 hours you have to give. So 3 hours is enough. As I said, 2 hours to read NCERT, half an hour to revise the class, maybe another half an hour to do some 10 questions. It can be 4 hours. So another 3 to 4 hours for optional. So optional class will have 2 to 3 hours duration. So these are the 3 broad things outside the class you have to do. Any individual sitting here who does this consistently even for 8 months, right, you are already a topper. You can write this down, I can give in writing. Anybody what I told in the class right now. So that is the secret for success. Anybody who writes, anybody who does whatever I told you, even for 8 months, you are like Nandini Kiar who is coming to inside IAS. From there we will focus, lots of prelim tests, lots of answer writing. After prelims we will have so many mains and mains tests. And for you people, we encourage you to write essays in the beginning itself, from the first month itself. So you will be writing around 30 to 40 essays before next mains. So if you do everything, I don't see any reason what force on earth is going to stop you from cracking this examination within one attempt, right? So for some of you it is slow, it might be slow, you take extra 2 to 3 months. If it is very slow, look at 25 attempts, it is fine. Don't worry about it. So for example, those who are very slow, those who cannot give these 3 components in a day, minus one of them, maybe optional. If you want to give more time for GS, like you are slow reader, give 5 hours, it is perfectly fine. And if you are taking more hours to read newspaper, like 2 to 3 hours, give 5 hours. Go with your own pace, you are still learning, right? So once you are done well with GS, you can then join optional, maybe after 8-10 months, and then skip the 24 attempt. From 24 June, July, do only answer writing. You are getting the point. Till December you can do GS, after that optional. From June 2024, only answer writing, nothing else. Maybe core batch or IPM or year-long main test series. Every week you come to the class, you keep writing mains answers, and 25, I don't know why you shouldn't crack the examination. Got it? So, but current affair must be constant. The early you start, the more you do, the more diverse is going to be your answers and essays. So don't go for ready-made material and don't delay it further, right? So these are the broad components, and optional, as I said, 10-year previous year papers you must do. So GS, how will you go about revision, right? Because so this month is polity will happen. Next month we might start with, let us say, geography. So while doing geography, you have to give at least 1 hour to polity as well, right? So at that time you can reduce half an hour of something, maybe current affair, because by that time the speed has improved a little bit, right? So minimum 30 minutes to 1 hour you have to compulsorily give for polity. So it will go on accumulating. If you revise polity, so that will be fourth revision, because you would have done 3 times of NCERT, and you would have given so many tests on polity. Multiple revision has already taken place to be in touch with the subject. So ensure that at least half an hour you are in touch with the subject. The best way to remain in touch with the subject is to do maximum number of previous year questions or the extra questions I was talking about in the static quiz. You got this point. So you don't have to open the textbook and revise. Keep doing polity questions even when geography class is happening. Now geography polity is over, modern history comes. So geography polity 1 hour or 1.5 hour, keep doing the questions. So when you go on doing this, it is an extra burden, but by then you would have developed ability to study half an hour, 1 hour extra also, or study something very fast so that you can save some time here and there, right? So by the time, let us say November, December comes, if you have done this kind of revision for broad subjects like economy, polity, geography, modern history, environment, SNT, prelims scores will be 100 plus, right? So in any test, whether hours, vision or any test you give, you will have 100, 110 plus marks. So that if it happens in the month of January, February, right? So then prelims you are 100% going to crack. And we have a very good faculty for CSAT, and he will take care of the CSAT, he will guide you about CSAT. So that also needs rigorous practice. So solving of all 10-year papers of UPSC civil service plus maximum number of questions from other CSAT exams. I mean, wherever aptitude questions are there, like CDS, NDA exam, any banking exam, you have to pick questions from there and you have to solve CSAT questions. The more practice you do, the more speed you will develop in CSAT. The more speed means more confidence, like more number of questions you can do in 2 hours. So the speed is the issue in CSAT. So overall, for CSAT, for prelims, for mains, right, the guidance is available. So once in a week you can meet your mentor, assigned mentor, and show them the daily one answer you are going to write as part of the class. Maybe after 3-4 months, when you gain the confidence, when this thing is going smooth, you can start writing 2 to 3 answers, right, every day. Because anyway you are going to write weekly answers. So I don't want to burden on you on daily basis. You don't do that. If you have done coaching and if you have done some basic reading and which will give you extra time, so then only you try to write 3 to 4 answers every day, right? Because some people come with some basic understanding also. Got it? Will you do? So that is why first half an hour I took, what I told you takes immense motivation to continue to do this thing. It is not easy. Even for us it is not easy, right, to do everything daily. We do it somehow, right? We have our own motivation. So I want to see more number of ranks from Karnataka, right? It is not easy to run institution. I have seen in front of my eyes hundreds of people, hundreds here and here, like opening institutions and then within week, within 1 month or within 1 year shutting them down, right? So if we had to start from scratch and build it, it's because of consistency, dedication and hard work, right? And some luck also, in your case also. So you have things required to crack this examination. The one who makes use of this most effectively is the smartest and is the leader here. Doesn't matter IIT, NIT, Government Arts Science College or whatever it is, right? The one who is going to make use of this is going to be the topper, because they will inevitably improve. How this exam has another beautiful thing, you cannot score above 60% in any of these stages, right? Interview, okay, 70 plus they give you, forget about interview. Prelims and mains is extremely difficult to score 60+%, right? So what is the importance of this? So it is not possible to score 200 out of 200 in prelims like you do in, right, other exams, maybe CAT and NEET and JEE and others, and in mains it is not possible. So which means there is a limit to, there is a threshold for what one can achieve in terms of knowledge, skills and everything, right? If there was no such limit, people would have scored like 70, 80, 90%, right? That doesn't happen. So what I am trying to say is that there is a limit to what extent you can write one essay. So the highest score is going to be around 150 something this time. They are not giving 180, 190 out of 250. They haven't given anyone, I don't think, 180 plus any point of time. So there is an expectation, this is what the best essay looks like. So if a candidate has achieved it, let us say they may be already might have achieved, they might achieve in 2 to 3 months. Once they have achieved, that's it, right? Beyond that, what is there? They just have to maintain, right? So the point here is that if one of your competitors has achieved it, right, it is not like he is always going ahead and you are chasing him. You can also come to that point through rigorous practice, and you can achieve that level and you are equal to that individual. It can be after 6 months, it can be after 8 months, it does not matter. Once you have achieved it, you are all equals. It applies in answer writing, it applies in optional, it applies in prelims, the scores what you can score, every stage. So if you are finding it very difficult to score more, learn better, whatever problems you are going through, so don't be afraid of it, don't get scared about it. The one you are seeing as the best, who is answering in the class, like all the questions, right, you will reach that point after a certain time. Have patience and just ensure that what? There is continuity, there is focus on what you are doing. So one day at a time, you have to take this journey. In cricket, they tell one ball at a time, right? So after hitting century, when they interview, this is a usual dialogue. So I was taking one ball at a time. I heard about it. So what does it mean? That means they were not thinking about a missed shot, the previous ball, right? They are not thinking about hitting 6 next ball while hitting the current ball, right? Either way it will affect hitting this ball right now. You can get out also. So basically you train your mind in such a way that it thinks only about the present, not about the past, not about the future. If you slowly train your mind to do that, right, in life, IAS itself will not be your success. It is like, it goes beyond IAS. And for God's sake, don't think IAS is the end, and IAS is all powerful, and IAS is what is going to define your personality and identity, right? Even if you get IAS, my personal suggestion, you should become even more successful beyond IAS. There are avenues available, right? So don't treat it as an end. That is something, a small goal, right? From where you come from, it may be a big goal, but from the world perspective, IAS is nothing, right? I'll ask a very simple question right now, right? Nobody will answer in this class because everybody is thinking about IAS, right? Everybody is dreaming about IAS for past days, weeks, months, and years also. Barring last 3 years, 4-year toppers, can you name any 5 IAS officers' names? Forget about last 3-4-year toppers. I know you will tell Tina Dabi, Srishti Deshmukh. 5 IAS officers' names. Gurudat Tegde. No, somebody who is beyond your familiar. Yeah, because of their good work. Because of, so like we have hundreds of secretaries, right? At center we have, and state level we have principal secretaries, additional secretaries. Every department will have at least 5 to 6 IAS officers. Why? Why can't you name 5 IAS officers' names? All of you want to become IAS, right? Let us say if you wanted to become a cricketer. If you wanted to become cricketer like Virat Kohli, if I ask 5 names, what will you do? You will tell 20, 30 names. Will you? You are very familiar, right? Even if you don't want to become a cricketer, even then you know so many names. So the point I am trying to make here is not about popularity or anything. There are thousands of IAS officers silently behind the screen doing great work, right? The point I am trying to make is that most of them are settled at that level, right? So we see very few people beyond their respective duties or roles. I am not talking about like Singham like people, more encounters becoming popular. I am not talking about it. Maybe there may be authors, they might have written a book, they become a famous author in addition to being IAS. Somebody might have become a Olympic gold medalist. We have one in Uttar Pradesh. He is from Karnataka, Suhas, right? So Paralympics, he won the gold medal. So that is the achievement I am talking about. So the thing is that don't treat it as an end. So you can become anything, you can go on to become national security advisor, you can go on to become Ajit Dobal, he used to be an IPS, everybody knows, and most of the people take him as a role model, right? That is because of the achievement they have done, whatever be the nature beyond their service or while being in the service. So that kind of thinking if you develop now, it will continue. Now, right now while preparation, if you just think about that as the end, what will happen? You celebrate like mad people, you, your family, everyone will celebrate IAS, that itself as an end, and then that will get it into head, and you will go to Labasna, and then you think that you stop reading newspapers. Nobody reads newspapers. Maybe 2 to 3% of them might read newspapers. Majority stop reading newspapers. IAS already, like, why to bother about what happens around the world? IAS, right? Doesn't matter. And I have seen, unfortunately, most people becoming arrogant. I don't know why they become arrogant. I really don't know, right? So I am somebody who thinks beyond IAS, right? If getting IAS is the end, then they think that and they become more arrogant. You should not become like that, right? There is life beyond IAS. There are achievements that can be made beyond IAS, and the people, like for example, you will become IAS. One may not become IAS today. So the one who doesn't become IAS can become something more than IAS after a certain while, right? So whatever it is, the point here is that if you develop these qualities now, it will continue throughout the life, right? Otherwise, what happens after IAS? You will feel like that is the end, and you will pass the same kind of treatment to the public also. That arrogance. I have met any IAS officers, and how many of you have directly interacted with any IAS officers? 1, 2, okay, 3, 4. With whom you interacted? Forgotten. It's okay. Forgotten. From DC or what? Like district collector? Okay, okay. You? He was also our OGP student, you know that? Rohan Jagdish. Rohan Jagdish, you don't know? He is IPS. So he used to be our OGP student. So all Karnataka output are like majority from insights only. So 90% of the toppers, especially top rankers, last few years, like last nearly 9 years, the highest rank from Karnataka is from inside size classroom, has been. Mostly it's because of their personality, right? So what we are doing, we do it for everyone, right? So how you make use of it, it depends. Any doubts so far? ಏನಾರ ಇದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ. It can be optional related, it can be yes. From the NCRT. Yeah. When you start reading NCRT, first reading don't make notes again, right? First reading never make, because when you make it mechanical, the same applies to newspaper and NCRT also. So what happens? You will lose the interest. First read the subject, just understand the broad framework. So what you can do is, in the first reading, just note down the headings, not the content of it. From every chapter you read, just the heading parts, subheading, subheading, the highlighted keywords, That's it. So whether you understand or not, you just do that, but focus more on the reading part. When you do the second reading, then you start making the notes. Here again, don't make a separate notes, just add anything new you learn here to your existing class notes. You can put a sticky note to the class notes, right? You can add extra page, just go on adding it. Similarly, previous year question you will learn something new, right? So that you can keep separate notes, but also you can add to the existing classroom notes. So that way you can make it more organic. What?
So UPSC exam pattern change
ಯಾರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು?
ಅಲ್ಲ 1 year 2 months ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ 6 months ಗೆ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
Yeah. So that is a recommendation. So UPSC has received such recommendations like year after year. Right? So those recommendations don't get implemented, right? So there is another recommendation to remove optionals, add new papers, new paper on public administration, statistics, management, some psychology. So I don't think they will do it immediately. So always focus on the present. What is there in front of you is real. अच्छा ठीक है. So for the amount of fees you have paid, so we are giving you chocolate. It's a small tradition here, like just to make you happy if you are unhappy at the end of the session, so that it can compensate. ಅದೇನೋ ಡೈಲಾಗ್ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಏನೋ ಅಡ್ವರ್ಟೈಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ವಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಓಕೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕ್ಯಾಡ್ಬರಿ ಆ್ಯಡಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಓ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಂಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತಾ? ಕುಚ್ ಮೀಠಾ ಹೋ ಜಾಯ್. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್. ಹೌ ಮೆನಿ ಆಫ್ ಯು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಹಿಂದಿ ಇಯರ್? How many of you speak Hindi? Okay. How many of you understand Hindi here? Almost everyone. You understand Hindi, you read Hindi, you speak Hindi, and then you again complain imposition of Hindi. So what is the logic? Like most of the Karnataka people already know Hindi, right? And then we say that Hindi imposition and other things. The more languages you learn, the more better your brain develops actually. Should be welcomed again. It should not be imposed, but if some new language is there, you learn it. Don't be language chauvinist. ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದೇ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು, ನನಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಬೇಡ, ಹಿಂದಿ ಬೇಡ, ಹಂಗೆ ಆ ಥರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬಾರ್ದು. Should learn all the languages. So anything, everything should be added to your class notes, right? So whatever you learn from test series, whatever you learn from previous year, whatever you learn from any standard textbooks, so keep additional pages to the classroom notes, because every teacher here, like every subject, for example art and culture, agriculture, security issues, I have seen the security issues notes, it is the best. Environment notes, they are already comprehensive. Now the repeatedly you read it and revise and try to remember stuff. When you try to make another parallel notes away from this, the returns are very less and effort you put is totally useless. It's mechanical. So don't do that.
So there are few books like Vipin Chandra and all where some authors advocate that you should not go ahead with bringing the notes and rejecting the book itself.
Yes.
The things there as well. So is it advisable or
See, it depends on individual to individual. For example, during your school, college days, if you are in the habit of making notes, continue with that. Now, if you didn't have that habit of making notes, suddenly if you want to make it right now, it becomes really hectic and mechanical. From those books, based on the previous year question, again, Bipin Chandra, if you have any static questions of modern history, last few years, for them we can take the content from those books. And again I am telling you, when we give synopsis for all these questions, those synopsis will have the notes, right? So we are going to provide you those notes. So focus more on remembering through revision, through answer writing, through solving questions, rather than trying to make notes endlessly, right?
One more question. How would the working on mentorship work? Is it like we will be in touch with our mentors every day, or how?
Every day is not feasible. Every day then dangerous. So once in a week you can meet them, like half an hour to 1 hour, where you can show them answers. What happens with mentorship, I'll tell you. Like, they will be available for next till your journey, 1.5 years. So you will develop a professional relationship with mentors. If we give like 50 students to one mentor, at the end of the day only 4 to 5 people will come regularly. So this is the norm. Even if I tell you again and again and again and again, this is what is going to happen. I don't know, for some people they don't come and meet for various reasons. So when you become one of those 4 or 5 people, you can meet daily also if you have really anything to show, because they will have time. And I want you to meet daily. I am giving them salary, I want them to be busy, right? So the more people go and approach, it is better. You should ask this question to yourself. Why you don't meet? Because you haven't written answers. You haven't given the weekly test, right? You are not making notes, or you are not solving previous year papers or something. So you don't have anything to talk. When you are doing everything what is being told in the class, then you will have so much to discuss with your mentor. It starts from you. This exam is very simple. It's like a cakewalk. Right. So if the capable individual comes here, we can give like 100 out of 100 ranks. But we all come from different backgrounds. That gap you have to bridge here. And see, the thing is that if you go to Delhi, you will never be able to meet teachers. Forget about mentors. I have seen people, institutions who have promised, they don't meet. Even if meet, there is a problem of arrogance. I don't know, I have heard that they are arrogant, they don't treat really well, and they scold. In North, you have this culture of scolding student, right? And sometimes mistreating. There may be good people. I definitely in a society, good and bad will be there, but the culture has developed where there is no professional relation between teacher and student, a very polite, humble relationship. So here we will never do that. Nobody will blame you, nobody will judge you in our institution. You can just come and share anything. Some of you may be going through personal problem also. So if you want to share, you can just come and share. It's okay. And standing in front of you, like I have heard every kind of story, and I haven't shared that story with anyone. Right? In a very general way, I might share, but not with like details or anything. Right? So when you share something, we listen, and for some people, just listening may be a necessity at that point of time. So we understand that you come from different background, as I said. So if I assume that everybody is brilliant and equal, then the treatment will be harsh. So because we understand, so unfortunately our society is like, the diversity we talk about, so beautiful and everything, right? Sometimes there is a negative aspect to the diversity, right? So one argument I am just trying to make here. So how many of your parents are educated here? So around half the class or 1/3 of the class. How many of their parents are educated? The parents of your parents, how many of them are educated? Hardly 5, 6. What about their parents? Any idea? Mutata, Mutaji? They were educated? No. So how many of you are first time educated in your own respective families? that your parents were not educated and you are the first one who is educated in your family. Anyone like here? Good. So what is the point here? So what is the point I am trying to make? Can anybody tell me? Not everyone are? Background? No, yeah, I mean it actually matters in a way that so when you study in an environment where your parents are educated, right, the way your personality develops is slightly different compared to in an environment where your parents are not educated. And if your parents and their parents, if there is a tradition of learning in your home, right, it will have an impact on you, right. So you will naturally learn literature, you will be good in different arts and other things, you will have time to give for extracurriculars because you are naturally smart in studies, right. I have seen such kind of people, right. So these are the realities that that exist in the society. So there are communities who have got education from like hundreds of years. Some communities are getting education now, right now, in the last 10 to 20 years, right. So to bridge that all the gap, you have to first know your own vulnerability, weakness, right. And then you should use these platforms to upgrade yourself. Now opportunities are available, resources are available, right. So as I said, anybody starting from what? Lack of, like disadvantageous position can be equal with others, right. But we should not keep using it as an excuse. Whatever lacking we have, we should not use it as an excuse. So the larger point was that in terms of education, in terms of this is the challenge you will face as an administrator also. So when 10 people come in front of you, don't treat them don't see them similarly with the same lens, right. Your empathy should be based on the socio-economic condition of the people. Of course, you should have empathy for everyone. You should know where to intervene more, where to target more, where to reach benefits more. So that understanding is very important. Okay, come back to orientation. Any doubts? Correct. So how many hours you get every day? Okay. So you can give yourself 6 to 8 hours for preparation. Okay. So how many attempts you have? Acha, like you have more attempts with you, like age and attempts you have. Okay, please sit down. So in that case, as I told you, other person, so you should target like 25, right. So in your case, try to focus more on the class, what happens in the class, and being perfect with the class, so that any knowledge you are gaining should not go waste, right. So you should have notes, you should have solved previous year papers. So I think minus optional you can do the other two things. So if you are getting 6 hours, as I told, 3 to 4 hours for 3 for current affairs and 3 to 4 for GS part. So this 6 to 7 hours you should target right now till, let us say, till November. So and then you can take up optional coaching if you have more time, and if you don't have time, then continue with this. Then once you complete the coaching in the April, so then take up the optional like May, June, July, August, and then continue with the remaining 6 hours revision and answer writing, and 25 is an attempt. So it doesn't add any stress to your preparation. You are working, so you are already using your mind in a job. You are because it really creates lots of stress. So it is not worth, don't try to overdo things and try to balance. You will break. I mean, after like few months, it can be few. I have seen many people. So when you don't try to balance, what will happen is that, so you'll try to pass the stress to everyone. So go easy way, right? So there is no urgency, right? ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಅರ್ಜೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ ನಾನು 21ಕ್ಕೆ 22ಕ್ಕೆ IAS ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. Why? And you people don't even know names of any secretaries also. To say who is cabinet secretary or current cabinet secretary? See, that is the highest IAS officer can achieve, right? So those who are urgent, 24ರಲ್ಲಿ IAS ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. So can you tell who is the cabinet secretary of India? Pardon? Raj? Rajiv what? Uttappa? No, I didn't heard. At least one or two knows. Good. Right. So these are small basic. Naವೆಲ್ಲ prepare ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ we used to first memorize these things. When I was preparing, I would never look into toppers. I would see what IAS officers have done the work, right? I would go backward. We have this education policy, health policy. So who are these people who created it? Narega scheme bantu. Like who are the IAS or think tank who are behind these schemes? Right to education, right to information, Forest Rights Act, right? So who are these people? I used to be curious about that perspective. Would never open YouTube and watch the toppers talk. That is not the motivation, right? You have to look beyond these things. So you should be aware, like RBI ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕಮಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, right? Or even like CBI ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ED ಇರ್ಬೋದು. So who are the people? ಅದಕ್ಕೆಲ್ಲ it is all transparent. If you go to their website, you will know the people, right? So you should know what kind of work the senior officers are doing. So let their work, the kind of impact they can leave on the society. So for example, I forgot a name. So he is from IIT Delhi, officer. He was made nodal in charge of Beti Badao, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao Andolan in Haryana. So during the time 2015 to 2020. So in 2050 it was around 870 something, the sex ratio, when he took the charge. So the scheme came and he was made nodal in charge, and he actually made it more effective in the state. So he ensured that the program really was successful. So and then the sex ratio improved to 924 something after 5 years, right? One IAS officer who made all other officers under him to do this. You know what it means? He would have saved tens of lakhs of girl children from being killed, right? So that is the significance. So similarly in health, education, in agriculture, in science and tech, in every field, so if you quantify your acts when you are committed, when you do these things, the benefit is reaches to lakhs and crores of people. The IAS is the only job that can get things done in this a really big manner. So what you are about to start preparing, what you are about to enter is not a small job, right? It's a huge, big responsibility. So behave like that. Prepare proportionately to the demand of the job. Don't be ordinary on a day-to-day basis. So try to be extraordinary within your own limited world. Like you were till now who you were, what you were. Don't be like that again. The worldly things, don't focus on them. Don't fall in love again after coming into UPSC preparation. So don't get into a relationship. Don't fall in love. You have time. You have ample of time. After 3-4 years, once you crack, you can do all these things. So in a recent podcast, I gave a dialogue. Did you watch any of them? You get attracted when you are distracted. I mean, so when you get distracted from this, it is either way. You get attracted, or when you get attracted, then you get destroyed. Not distracted, destroyed. Right. So I mean, by COVID, I'm not against any love or anything, but it can wait. So those who are already in the relationship, continue, ensure that it is healthy. Right. Either one of you don't affect your preparation. Right. No need to break up, or no need to pause for 3-4 years now. Just ensure that it is healthy. Right. There is space for both of you, and you go on to prepare really well. If it is unhealthy, come and talk once. I'll tell you how to come out of it. Right. You should come out of any unhealthy relationship if at all. I'm sure like 1 or 2 may be going through. I hope they are not going through. If it is there, as soon as possible you come out of it. There is no going back. Just experience irbodu ivrige anta ella. Small experience. Okay. Any doubts? So sit down and answer. It is going to be hectic, obviously, but it is ideal to, I mean, as I told you, 24, if that is your target, the sooner you finish, the better it is, right? Or next 4-5 months you can focus on GS, and then you can start doing it. The more you delay optional, the more less competent you become in that optional. So by January, February, you should be in a position to write answers in optional, so that after prelims you don't have to spend too much time on optional. Okay. See, enroll, it's okay. Even if it has already started, you can enroll, or you can enroll in another institution. You can do, see, optional, my suggestion is that, so you have videos, free classes available on YouTube and Telegram and here and there, right? So again, the start classes which have started, it is not like GS, where you have to do so many stuff. First, you should know the conceptual clarity, right? So the videos are available. You can just start with the first video and try to catch up with the ongoing classes. It is not like you have to come and sit in the class. So what matters is understanding concept and their notes in optional. So start with them. If you can get freely available resources, use them. If ongoing classes are there, you can enroll. Or if somebody is starting new batch in this month or in May, then also you can join, right? But the sooner you do, the better it is for you. So did I clear all of your doubts at least to some extent? Yes or no? So nowadays I am hearing that you people are not like very enthusiastic to interact in the class. Kugadi class alli. I mean, if teacher asks a question like, come to the class by reading something, pre-reading, right? And try to be engaged, try to answer.
ಓದಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಮೀಡಿಯಂ ಸರ್, ಬಟ್ ಮೈನ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬರೆಯೋದೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದೇ ಆಗಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು.
That is what the Hindu will change it. After a few months, you will start thinking in English. You will start. I used to face that problem.
ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸರ್, ಇಂಟು ಟೂ ಆಗೋದು.
Into two.
ಮೈಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು ಟೈಮ್.
ಏನಆಗಲ್ಲ. It is see, if you do that right now, you will overcome that problem. Daily newspaper, daily class, you will listen in English, and also try to listen to news in English like BBC News. Indian news channel you cannot watch nowadays. There is nothing to listen in any of Indian channels. NDTV used to be there, even that is also gone now, right? So even Rajya Sabha and all, even that is also not good nowadays. So BBC, even that used to be there, even that is also being destroyed. I mean, complaints against it, but I don't know. The Hindu, just Just if we can have text to speech. The podcast you can listen. So there are good podcasts on current affairs. Now listening in English will help you think in English also. Reading and listening, and then speaking in English. You can overcome, don't worry. Give yourself 6 months time and keep doing these things. Mate? Anyone else? No doubts? So this exam is such that I can talk like whole day. There are so many things to talk, right? How to only to write essay, how to start, how to write and all. It can be like so many hours of classes, right? Ethics case studies, and so you are not at there. So we will slowly start all these things, and as I keep repeating, what is the takeaway? Make use of insights IAS, right? If you don't make use of it, the money you have given is waste. You will be stuck in the loop again and again. You will be spending more money. So buy 2 copy will become buy 3 copy. I mean, you will open another shop. There will be more photocopy shops. The more increase in rent and real estate, because you keep pumping money, right, into this system. So there is a talk in the street. Vinay sir is to be blamed for increased rent and increased land rates in Chandra layout. I am very proud of it. I am not able to buy it now. ಮುಂಚೆನೆಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿರೋದು ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ಸೇನ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್. ಐ ಮೀನ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಸಿ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ ಹೌಸು ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ MG ರೋಡಿಗಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಚಂದ್ರ ಲೇಔಟ್. Okay, so nothing else. Wish you all the best. So please live up to the expectations. So don't make that it saddens me, but I am living with it. ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, we come here, stand for 2 hours with all the good intention, with all the passion. I can just tell, I can be cynical. The meaning of cynical? Somebody who has no hope, like just says everything is hollow and something. I can tell you the same thing. I could have just said, you watch YouTube videos. Most of it is going to be repeated. So why I come with some passion and engage you and talk is that every day I have this hope that if not to everyone, there are few people, there are some Nandinis hiding here. There are Avinash, Jaydev, Akshay Simha, somewhere sitting in this classroom. They will take it seriously, right? And those people who really, I don't know what made them believe in me or in the institution, they listen to everything. Sometimes I wonder, like, Jaydev, for example, he was one of the most brilliant students. He was more intelligent than me, more intelligent than our faculties and all, in terms of, knowledge and writing skills and everything. So he would so humbly come and, take everything, note down in his diary. And in fact, I used to tell him, then he would say that, sir, I am not intelligent, but your wisdom, your experience is what I am counting on, right? And essay he had published in international journals, and he would, like a student, like Avinash also, all of them are published in international journals. They have written great papers in the National Law School. Avinash had shown at least 30-40 essays. He had a big book. So I have evaluated all essays. He scored second highest score in the essay paper. So in their case, it was aligning to UPSC requirement. They were writing good. Even then they would have scored 30-40 marks only because it was irrelevant to UPSC demand. So how to use their smartness, existing good intelligence to align with the UPSC requirement. So that was the job I was trying to do. In Jaydev case, diluting it. So they would come regularly. Jaydev would wait like 2 hours sometimes outside. And then in 2 hours, what he would do? He would write another extra essay while waiting outside the cabin. So I had to evaluate 2 essays. The one written in the past, and another one he would write. You make me wait, I will write more. See, that is the attitude that will get you like top 10 rank in 1 attempt. I don't see, like, people sit outside and they are like impatient. It is not like hospital, right, where you have stomach ache and you are eager to see doctor. Even in AIMS, if you go, it is 15 days waiting period, 1 month waiting period. Some patient, I don't, you have waiting period there, 1 month or something, right? So in 1 or 2 hour, in 1 hour you can solve 20 MCQs, right? In 2 hour you can solve 20 MCQs plus also write some answers. So there is every minute, every hour, wherever you can get, you can do something, you can learn something, right? So if you are in that cycle of learning from morning to midnight, just this positive cycle, it is so interesting, and then this becomes stress free. You won't get stressed, you will love the process, and when you bring that, we will see that result in your case. So just stay humble, make use of these, and most of you are humble. I don't see any arrogant individual here. So whatever reasons you don't want to meet people, stop doing that. Just come and meet everyone. We don't judge anyone, whether you come from any rural area, whichever caste, whichever religion. Who bothers about these things here, right? And there is no special treatment to anybody also. Some people come, daughters and sons of officers and politicians, no special treatment. And even when they become IAS and shit, no special treatment. Even somebody IPS who has come to prepare again, no special treatment. All are treated equally, right? So I believe if not today, some day, some years later, you are going to become someone great. I believe about everyone. So prepare well and live up to your expectations, your parents' expectations, my expectations, institutions' expectations. Change for the better. Okay. Thank you so much.